What are the best board games and card games for traveling? Here are a few ideas. The family and I recently took a trip to Peachtree City, Georgia. We got to the airport, Harry was all packed and ready to go. We were excited. Can't you tell I'm excited? So much to do, so much to see. First time for a little guy like me on a plane. We even met a few friends along the way at the airport. But alas, it wasn't long until off we were into the air, down to the beautiful state of Georgia. Harry was a trooper the whole way. And we made some great memories, getting to see some famous attractions, beautiful scenery, and local little treasures. Of course, I had to make a stop at a couple local game stores. Shout out to Discover Games and to Meeple Madness. It was great to see how the hobby was thriving in another location. I only wish I could have spent more time there, as the stores had a lot to offer. There's nothing like a nice summer vacation. And of course, I even picked up some dice to bring home. But what about what we were actually going to play on the trip? You know I couldn't go down there without bringing a few games to play. I actually probably packed arguably too many games, considering the amount of bags we had to carry, but they're small, and I had agonized over what games to bring with us. Ultimately though, my picks worked phenomenally, and I figured why not take a few minutes and share some of my observations. Let's talk about some of these successes in no particular order. I brought some Pack-O games. These little gum pack sized games designed by Chris Handy are really a lot of fun. I don't even know if I brought all of these specifically, but I know I did have more in my bag that we ended up playing, just because they're so easy to carry. I didn't even need to put them in a bag. You can carry these in your pocket. I particularly love from this newest set Mad, Win, and Bog. Respectively, they're a fantastic little trick-taking game with a fascinating twist, an impressively re-implemented Long Shot the Dice game, and a wild little programming abstract. I've been continually fascinated by what can be crammed into these tiny little packages. All of these are different kinds of games, and while they all strikingly vary in how much I enjoy each one of them particularly, there's guaranteed to be one for you. They're so easy to store, carry, and bring anywhere that you really just can't lose with these. Everybody already knows about this little guy, Scout from Oink Games. At this point, everybody knows how good this little guy is. Like most of the games in this list, it does really fit a lot of game into a tiny little box. But it's also a great game to share with family or friends who aren't in the hobby, but most people have played a traditional card game of some type or other, and this clever shedding game is really just an easy next step in that direction. Trio. We've already been singing the praises of this game. It was in our top games of 2023, and it just continues to be a hit in our house. I think this little iceberg of a game has so much more to it than initially implies. It may have one of the biggest curves of any game that I've ever played, based on the fact that when it comes to the ease of the teach, less than a minute, to the number of times people want to keep playing this, and it's slowly becoming one of my most played games ever. This little dialed up version of Go Fish was the first game that came to mind when my family and I were talking about packing games to bring with us. It was a no-brainer, and if you still haven't checked it out, look it up. In the same vein as the last two, Spicy is my go-to for people who claim that they've only ever played Uno. This is my favorite small card game ever. Card shedding, bluffing, it just really creates these wild, hilarious situations around the table. Which is interesting because I've come to discover that's the only thing that all of my favorite games have in common, that these overtly strong dynamics between the people around the table get to be built after playing the game for about 30 seconds. I love that, and I think Spicy is the best example of that in a small package, so this was a great game to travel and easy to teach, easy to play. I mean, look, Spicy was so fun, even Stormy was trying to play it. It's an irresistible game, what can I tell you? Gloomhaven. What? No. Gloomhaven. I got to play through quite a few scenarios of buttons and bugs while on my last trip. It's great during a little quiet time or at night when you have a free few minutes, because not only is this tiny, but it's not time consuming to play either. This puzzler has repeatedly impressed me for how much of Gloomhaven it fits into this tiny little box. You get all the vibes of Gloomhaven in a minuscule little package. It's quick, innovative, shrunken, and a lot of fun for a really reasonable price. I highly recommend this as an experience if you like solo little puzzles, or if you're a fan of Gloomhaven and you just want something more convenient. High Society. Yes, quite. Of course I got a Knizia game on this list, you kidding? High Society is a classic. The game really does lend itself to travel, and especially the idea that if you're going to be playing with people who aren't normally gamers. It's an accessible little auction game that I feel comes naturally to people who've played any game because money is involved, and that's a concept in games that I think most people are familiar with. Pack that in with a few classic clever Knizia twists, and you have yourself a cultured, refined little game that comes in this easy-to-carry small package. Okay, so a little bit of a cheat here. I would not necessarily recommend SkyTeam for this size. It does take up a little bit of room in any bags that you're bringing. I brought it with us because of another video that is coming soon all about SkyTeam, and I wanted to play it while on our trip, as you will see when that comes out soon. That being said, spoiler alert for our other video, I love SkyTeam, and if you want to fit this in your bag, go for it, because we had quite a bit of fun taking a little bit of time to play this 2-player co-op. It's a really ingenious design. I'm a little late to the party on it, but I'm thrilled that it's getting all the love that it's gotten, because it really does deserve it. So yeah, just something that I did bring with us on the trip, and I recommend the game highly, but as far as the space is concerned, that's up to you. 20 strong. Warning. You're going to be hearing me talk about this game a lot, possibly in the very near future. Kind of similar to Buttons and Bugs mentioned a few minutes ago. If you feel like on your trip you will have some quiet downtime just to yourself and you do a little solo game, it could be a great idea, right? 20 Strong manages to pack so much thinking, so many agonizing decisions, and so much dice-chucking chance. Makes you feel like you're playing some sort of massive, brain-melty sort of game in a little teeny package that's really fast and really punishing. I really understand this game might not be for everyone, whether it is just the fact that you don't like very high chance games, or the fact that on top of the high chance you still have extremely painful decisions to make. I get it. But I don't know what it is for me personally. Chip Theory knocked it out of the park with this. I am obsessed. See, I first played it this year, and if this was a 2024 game, there would be no contender so far this year for my favorite game of the year. I just love this thing. Yeah, I played it a lot on the trip. It was really easy to pack. I did bring the Too Many Bones deck. I'm still missing the Hoplomachus deck myself, unfortunately. But what I love about this is that inside you have a room for a deck, so if you just wanted to bring the core box, you can, but you could swap out what themed deck you're playing with. I love the artwork, I love the components, I love the gameplay, I love the flow of it, the vibes. Beautiful. And there you are. If you're traveling, I highly recommend any game that you saw on this list just now. And you know what? If you're not traveling, you just want some cool games, still recommend them. I barely ever travel, so this was a new thing for me, and I figured, why not share my experience? So play them, give them a shot, let us know what you think. And if you have any questions about any of these, please feel free to leave them in the comments, or if you have any suggestions for great games that you like to travel with, please put them down there below as well. I'd love to hear them. And whether you're at home on a nice little staycation, board game night, or if you are traveling, wherever you are, just keep playing board games like an animal. Number 5, Gloomhaven. What? Get out of here.